Good morning, friends. We are discussing a topic which is newly coined as greenwashing, which is published in the Hindu newspaper editorial. This article reminds us that changes to conservation laws must be backed by scientific evidences. A new joint parliament committee is being set up for new Forest Cover Act, which is the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill 2023. This bill shows us that what are the complex challenges involved in balancing the industrial development along with the conservation of the forest. In the other view, by industrialization means that the grabbing of large forest land cover and destroying the ecosystem. The last Forest Conservation Act of 1980 has been the mental peace legislation in the sense that it had empowered the state to regulate this and impose the cost on such industrial exploitations and originally meant for notified forest. In a landmark Supreme Court judgment in T.N. Godavarman Tirumal Pad case 1996, among the other things, broadened the scope of such protection to even those not officially classified so. Apart from this, India's forest cover has seen only marginal increase, as biennial reports of the Forest Survey of India shows that a marginal and very only few numbers increased in the forest cover of the India. We can say that the growth in the forest cover in official records of the forest cover is stagnant position or means at the best incremental what it could be. The existing forest cover also shows that the cover which the existing cover of the forest which is made up of the cover in the orchard, plantations and village homesteads that is been on the rise and supplementing India's claim that for its forest cover is of 24% of its total land area, which is to be increased up to 33% as India is committed to increase its carbon sink of 2.5 billion to 3 billion tons of CO2 by 2030 as the part of its international climate commitments. To meet the challenges, Environment Ministry's calculations were insufficient to meet these commitments. Means last Forest Cover Act 1980 was insufficient to meet the future commitments. Last existing Forest Conservation Act of 1980 was far behind to meet the challenges as it did not incentivize the private agroforestry and tree plantation activities. Backing this sentence means we can see the past record from 2019 to 2021. India added 1540 square kilometers of forest cover, out of which 1509 square kilometer was outside the recorded forest area. The new amendments to the Forest Act gave such incentives by clearly defining the limits of 1996 judgment, and only land record is forest in any government record on or after a 1980 would invoke provision of this act. Forest land authorized by state for non-forestry uses between 1980 to 1996 would not invoke provision of the act. The amendments effectively mean states can no longer classify unclassified forest land or patches of trees with forest-like characteristics as forest land. The amendment also allow forest land up to 100 km near India's borders to be appropriated without central approval for strategic and security purposes. The primary criticism is that these amendments do not really contribute to regenerating natural forests, but rather incentives afforestation for commercial ends. What is worrying is that the parliamentary committee, despite its statutory privileges, has not expressed any opinion on or suggestion on the way forward. Grooming private forests might look good in the theory, but expecting them to be a permanent carbon stock is wishful thinking, given that strong market incentives exist to use them as carbon credits, while new climate realities might necessitate changes to the way conservation laws are interpreted. These must be backed by rigorous scientific evidence.